Hello and welcome to Sing the Score, all that nonsense. Now look, the reason that people like me sing this stuff for a living, it's not the girls, it's not the countertenor machismo. It's the fact that the best of these pieces are physically and emotionally almost overwhelming to sing. They're that powerful, just in the same way that your favourite Schumann song or a pop song gets you that way. These pieces do us as well. And that may not be how you think of Renaissance music. There is certainly a tradition of a certain reserve in performance of Renaissance polyphony, certainly among British groups. But there's a plangency to some of this repertoire that if you're singing it one to a part, and absolutely chorally as well, you have to find with the very core of your sound, nothing vocally or emotionally superficial. We're also talking about the difference between good music and really brilliant pieces, little masterworks lasting 3 or 4 minutes. So I'm sitting here and thinking, should I do some classic that would have broader interest and maybe get my numbers up a little bit? But then I think, no, what I want to do is share this piece, today's work, which you've probably not come across before, and you certainly wouldn't have gone looking for it, because it's a monster, mostly because of the passing notes. Oh, do you like it, sir? Passing notes, one rubbing itself up against the other one to create passing dissonance. Oh! The composer, someone whose songs, he didn't use the word madrigals or motets, I really rate, but who's not particularly fashionable. Thomas Tomkins. You may have sung Tomkins's When David Heard That Absalom Was Slain. Fantastic piece, first published in his 1622 Book of Songs. This book also contains the staggering and much misunderstood piece that he dedicated to William Byrd, Too Much I Once Lamented. We're definitely going to cover that one later in the series, so don't miss it, and you can be sure not to by pressing this little subscribe button down here. Otherwise your life will be a gaping void. But not today. And today we're going to sing no one's ever heard of this, Was Ever Wretch Tormented. This song is dedicated to his brother Giles Tomkins. It's for 4 voices, and at its original printed pitch it works for lowish soprano, high tenor, that's us ladies, a low tenor or a baritone, and a bass. But straight away we come up against one reason why the piece isn't sung much. Each part's range is nearly a huge 2 octaves, quite a stretch to do that well in a sort of consort setting. But at home with Sing the Score, in the privacy of the madrigal sheds we built in lesson 1, we can scream our way through this and no one will care, except possibly my wife and some of her friends. The entire piece is built on a very simple poetic conceit about opposites. Was there ever a tormented wretch that lived in heaven, or a contented soul found down in hell? Yet I, taking pleasure in flames, am delighted in hell, but languish in heaven with grief and anguish. Presumably an oxymoronic metaphor for the contradictions of love.
What a phrase, what a phrase, an absolute beauty, a rip snorter of a phrase there from the middle-aged trundler from the University of York. Marvellous effort all round. Let's take one more look at that on the replay.
Oxymoronic metaphor. Poetry like this was like a red rag to a compositional bull. Because it was fashionable in late 16th and early 17th century Europe to set such provocatively descriptive words with harmony or musical figures that express their meaning in sound. So on Tormented, the harmony twists and turns with dissonance which musically torments. Heaven is set at the top of everyone's ranges. Hell is set low. Flames moves in fast notes, as if flickering. While delighted plays around with the delight of the sound of its own word. Finally, the words languish and anguish are set with more of those very pleasurable passing notes. It's what we come to Renaissance music for. It's the closeness. Now, other composers do more extreme things with word setting, but few composers do it as well as Tomkins because everything is so brilliantly timed and paced so that each idea speaks with maximum effect. There's also an outrageous little twist just before the end when the music suggests it's about to finish by preparing a cadence that should do this. But instead, Tomkins does this. Interrupted. You can buy our Chandos CD of the Tomkins' entire 1622 book if you're a rare person who actually still expects to pay for music. If not, you can stream it on Spotify or Apple Music, which pays us practically nothing at all, and while we're at it, I'll pop round later and do your gardening. But if you feel bad about that, you could consider joining the Fagiolini Friends.
This madrigal has extreme ranges, and E. Fagiolini is not responsible for injuries sustained during its performance.
Terms and conditions apply. The range of a voice may go down as well as up.